Hello and welcome to Rathod Science Academy. Today in this session, we are going to see very important articles that appeared in our today's newspaper. First of all, I'll let you know important topics of the day, and later on we are going to see each and every topic from prelims and as well as mains point of view, and I'll let you know how questions can be asked from that topic, and at last, I'll be giving you prelims practice questions so that you can understand how questions can be asked. Okay, now let us see the topics of the day. The first topic is Supreme Court opposes use of SIR data for non-poll task. Here this article is very important because it is talking about SIR, Special Intensive Revision. Okay, actually we expected the question related to SIR in prelims 2026. But unfortunately there is no question in that year. In 2027 you can expect a question on SIR, or in 2026 mains you can expect a question on SIR. Okay, so this topic is very important from polity point of view. In polity you have this chapter of elections. In that topic you will come across this SIR. And next topic is Jammu and Kashmir Mansbal Lake starts hosting migratory birds again. So this article is talking about one important lake of Jammu and Kashmir. So if there is any lake in news, obviously UPSC can ask you a question on it. And if you see PYQs of UPSC, many a times UPSC asked question on lakes. Even in 2025 UPSC prelims also, they gave 3 lakes and they asked in which of the above lakes this equator passes through. So like that UPSC can ask you a question on lakes. It is one of the favorite area of UPSC. And next topic is Harjit Singh Grewal appointed Chief of Minorities Commission. In your polity and governance, you will be having this topic called as constitutional and non-constitutional bodies. Okay, so actually we have this National Minorities Commission, National ST body, SC body, like that we have different bodies. So this topic is important from that point of view. So here you have to know some basics related to this National Minorities Commission. On that UPSC can ask you a question. And if you are writing any other examinations, if there is any important person appointment happened in that commissions, UPSC other commissions can ask you a question. For example, State Public Service Commission, or if you are writing SSC or CDS examination, in that they can ask you about this directly related to facts. And next question, next topic is about US delivers another MH-60R Seahawk to the Indian Navy. So actually India made agreement with US in 2020. In that agreement, India asked to send 24 helicopters. Out of that, we got around 22, I guess. Okay, so now we got 22nd helicopter from US. So here you have to know about what is that helicopter is about, what are the advanced features, why we are buying that helicopter from US, what is the need. Okay, so you have to see that from science and technology point of view. And next topic is the promise of chips. Chip making is more than a seasonal obsession in India now. This article is talking about chips. They are nothing but semiconductors. Here you have to know about what is mission of India related to semiconductors and why this manufacturing of chips is not a seasonal now. Why we have to full-fledged focus on that chip production in our country. What are the advantages? Everything you have to know. And this topic is important from GS paper 3 under science and technology. And next topic is battling drug abuse. Kerala has shown initiative in coordinated action against cartels. As you all know that we have a major problem in our country, that is drug trafficking. And recently NCB also gave a report that there is influx of drugs from Myanmar into our country, right? And now especially this drug trafficking is a major problem in one of the developed state in our country, that is Kerala. So now Kerala government started one operation. In that operation they are having coordinated actions and they want to fight against this drug trafficking in this Kerala. So you have to see this. Because of this NCB report, there is a very high chance of getting a mains based question directly in your GS paper 3, guys. Okay, now let us see the topic. Read out the title, guys. Supreme Court opposes use of SAR data for non-poll task. What is the keyword? Keyword is SAR. What is the full form of SAR? Okay, Special Intensive Revision, SIR. Okay, what we are doing under this SAR? Who is conducting this SAR? Election Commission of India. Even in the state of Telangana also it is going on, right? Have you filled that form? No idea. Don't say that I didn't. If you don't fill that form and if you're not submitting that form, you lost your right to vote, right? Okay. So see here, who is conducting this SAR? Election Commission of India. And what Election Commission of India is doing in this SAR? It is going for door-to-door survey and it will be taking relevant document details and it will be updating, right? So why SAR is taken up by Election Commission of India now? What is the reason? To clean up our electoral rolls, to remove duplicate voters and to remove ghost voters. Only the eligible people will be having this right to vote now because of this SAR. So why? Which article gives this power to Election Commission of India? Very good. Article 324 of Indian Constitution says about free and fair elections in our country. So as you all know that in India, what is a major problem? Illegal migration. And India is sharing boundary with how many countries on land? You know, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Bhutan, Nepal, Myanmar, Bangladesh. What is the major problem in this northeast with Myanmar and Bangladesh? Illegal migration. So if illegal migration is happening, if foreigners are entering into our country, if they are getting this voter ID and if they are casting vote in India, can we ensure free and fair elections? No. What happens? The foreign country influence will be there in our country, right? Is that right? No. Because of this, Election Commission of India is using this Article 324 and it started SIR. In which state it started SIR first? In Bihar. After that, it extended to different states. And even in Telangana, it is going on, right? Okay, now, do you know the earlier cases related to SIR? Can you recall it? What are the earlier cases? Okay, so Election Commission of India started conducting this SIR in multiple states. Because of this, what happened? Lakhs or in some states, crores of people, they lost their names in their electoral list. Yes, in electoral rolls, they lost their name. Will they be silent? No. What they did? They filed petitions in Supreme Court. And what Supreme Court did? Supreme Court asked questions related to SIR to Election Commission of India. Why these many people lost their names? And what Election Commission of India gave the answer? It is our duty under Article 324. And one more article Election Commission of India cited. What is that article? Which article talks about right to vote? Adult franchise? Yes. So one more article cited by Election Commission of India is Article 326. Talks about what? Universal adult franchise. What is this concept of universal adult franchise? If anyone who completed 18 years of age, they have right to vote. So earlier, what was the age? Earlier 21 years, but it had been reduced to 18 years. Which amendment reduced this age? That is one PYQ. In 1995 or 1997, they asked directly, which of the following Constitution Amendment Act reduced the age of right to vote from 21 to 18? Okay, if you see PYQ thoroughly, you will come to know which amendment is important, which amendment is not important. Because many a times UPSC asked questions on this constitutional amendments. Can you tell me what is the recent Constitutional Amendment Act which changed the constitution? Very recent one. I am not asking about the number of bill. I am asking about the Constitutional Amendment Act. Act and bill difference, you know, right? Now tell me which is a recent amendment act. 106. Apart from that, think once. You have to know about recent Constitutional Amendment Act. Find out the recent Constitutional Amendment Act and what changed what. Okay, there will be around 20 to 24 Constitutional Amendment Acts you need to know perfectly. One is 61st, second one is first Constitutional Amendment Act, 9th Constitutional Amendment Act, next one is 82nd, 91st, 101, 100, you know 99, right? 99 Constitutional Amendment Act, what it is? 99th, recently judiciary completed, no? NJAC. So you have to remember at least very important Constitutional Amendment Act. There will be around 20 to 25. So how will you know which is important? Check PYQs. Always I will be telling you like you have to do 45 to 50 years of PYQs. If you do all those PYQs, you'll come across this kind of amendments. And many a times they asked about 61st, they asked about 82nd, they asked about 91st. What is 91st? What about 91st Constitutional Amendment Act, which comes in Parliament chapter? Anti-defection law, it is not. It is 52nd. 91st. Total number of 15% of Council of Ministers along with Prime Minister. And what is 52nd? Anti-defection law. And you have to remember this 42nd and 44th. 42nd is called as, there is one word to that, mini constitution. So like that you have to remember the important Constitutional Amendment Act. So just revise your polity. Okay, take out all your handouts from day one, revise them, and wherever you are getting Constitutional Amendment Act, take one highlighter and do highlight it and revise those Constitutional Amendment Acts. Why? Because whenever you are writing your mains answers in your polity, that will become very handy to support your arguments. Okay, those will be very important. And even if you're writing other examinations also, they will be asking questions on this for sure. Okay, see guys, I'm telling each and every pin to pin point, like what you have to remember, what you have to leave, based on what are the subjects that are going on in your classes. And from next week onwards, don't complain that the classes are more hours. From next week onwards, every day 1 hour current affairs will be there. As soon as current affairs is done, your economy will be started from 9:30 to 1:30 with a break. And if governance is not completed by next week, obviously in afternoon hours, what happened? You will be having your governance. And from August 3rd onwards, anthropology will be getting started. Anthropology will be on evening timings. Don't complain that number of hours are increasing. Initially, to start this pace, we arranged only 3 to 4 hours of class. But slowly I said already, the number of classes will be increased. Already it had been 1.5 months, no? Like only 3 hours of polity. You will be getting bored also. Now sit. It will be for more than 6 hours. Okay, clear? So if you are going on this 4 hours and 3 hours means we cannot complete syllabus for sure. So because of this, we have to increase the pace. That is the reason. And for economy also, you will be having every day test. Be prepared. Okay, once polity is done, for governance, there will be no daily prelims test because governance will be only for mains. There will give only mains question. For economy, again, your mains question will be go on. Your prelims test will be on the same pace. And if possible, in between, I will be also conducting revision test of governance and even economy as usual. Okay, keep your mindset like that. Like I have to sit for more number of hours and do at least 10 to 15 minutes of physical exercise. I know nobody will have this habit of doing this, but you have to do because sitting long hours will strain your spine especially. You'll get that kind of pains. So to overcome that, for sure, you have to do 10 to 15 minutes of physical exercise. That is for sure, guys. Okay, now let us see this article. Now let us see this infographic. Whenever you are getting infographics in the articles, first of all, look at that. See this infographics. Petition raises issues on Bengal government's use of SAR data. In Bengal, what happened? After once in Bihar, they completed this SAR, they did in Bengal. So what happened recently after this Bengal elections? Which party came into power in Bengal? BJP. Mamata Banerjee gone. So there are lots of issues in this Bengal, and that Mamata Banerjee government, that Mamata Banerjee related political party, they are claiming that because of SAR only, many people, they lost their names in their voter list. Because of that only, we didn't win. So finally, there were lots of petitions from this Bengal. They filed in Supreme Court related to SIR. Now this article is saying that deletion from electoral rolls led to serious civil consequences. What are the petitions they filed? Because of this SAR implementation, many people lost their name in their voter list. Because of that, it has had impact on election result. And this one is SAR data is being linked to PDS and other government schemes. Now there is one more petition. They said that after one SAR is done, so that same SAR data is linking to government schemes. And you know this PDS, that is Public Distribution System under National Food Security Act. Recently that is also in news. Why? Recently NFSA, new rules, what are they? Under this Antyodaya Anna Yojana, normally a family will be getting how many kgs of rice? 35 kgs. But now that had been changed. What changes government bought? For one person in a family, they will get how many kgs? 7 kgs. Okay. And what is the cap? If in that family, if there are more than 5 members, they will get only 35 kgs. If less than 5 members, they will calculate based on per person per 7 kgs and they will give this ration, right? That is the update. So just link everything. So now one of the petition is saying that this SAR is also linked with PDS and government schemes. Okay, now this petition is taken by Supreme Court and Supreme Court said that this SAR should be used only for election purpose. They should not link this SAR for non-poll task. That means for other areas, we should not use this SAR data. SAR data should be used only for what? Election purpose. That is a Supreme Court judgment. Are you understanding here? Okay, now let us see in detail. Okay, Supreme Court upheld that Election Commission's Special Intents Division of Electoral Rolls. Yes, we have to do that to ensure clean electoral rolls so that we can avoid duplication, we can remove this ghost voters, so that we can ensure free and fair elections in our country that will uphold democracy. Okay, and next one here is Supreme Court now. Do you know about SCR, right? SCR is nothing but intents division. They will check all the documents. Based on that, they will clean the electoral rolls. And next, what Supreme Court said this, SIR is constitutional because Election Commission have this power under Article 324. Our constitution itself is giving this power to Election Commission of India, and even we have Representation of People's Act of 1950. So we have Representation of People's Act of 1950 and 1951. Do you know exactly what difference between these two acts? Already I think in your class it has been done in election chapter. So here this is talking about before elections. 1951 talks about exactly what happens in during elections and after elections, right? Before elections we have to make the arrangements, we need to have the list, and we have to give the slips to the each and every voter, and they have to be distributed to that voter. Yes, so all this will be dealt with this 1950 Representation of People's Act. So this power of SIR is given from Article 324 and as well as Representation of People's Act of 1950. It will ensure what? Integrity, accuracy and purity of our electoral roll. But now this SIR will be having limited purpose. It should be used only for elections. It cannot be used for other than elections. Okay, so that comes under your limitation of SCR data. Supreme Court explicitly restricted this SCR role. So we have to use only for determination of citizenship status, but we cannot use for other purposes. Other non-electoral consequences we cannot use. That is a judgment. So if UPSC wants to give a question on this, how can it give? Consider the following statements regarding SIR. Under that, it can give you 2 to 3 statements, and it may ask you which of the above are correct or incorrect. That is the first type of question. And second type of question here is we have assertion and reasoning based questions also. In 2026, I think you might have seen that kind of questions. Even in your intermediate, I think many of you have attempted MCET exam. In that MCET also, you will be having this assertion and reasoning based question. In the same format in UPSC also it can give. Okay, you may get assertion and next statement is reason, and it will ask you to identify assertion and reason or correct or not, whether reason is explaining this assertion or not, whether it is not explaining. So like that it can give you a question in that format. In mains, how can it give? Because of implementation of SIR by Election Commission of India, lakhs of people, they lost their name in the electoral list. In the light of this statement, what are the advantages of SIR and challenges? Suggest some measures. That means you need to know what exactly SIR is. You need to know Article 324 and Representation of People's Act of 1950. And you need to know about what advantages of SIR. And you need to know what are the challenges, and you have to suggest some measures. Okay, so you have to know everything about this elections, because IAS officer plays an important role during elections. Remember this, guys. If in your area, if there are elections 3 months before elections onwards, you will be not having even half an hour sleep per day. You have to work minimum 23 hours per day at that time for continuously till elections is done, till model code of conduct, till final result of elections come. That much tedious work will be there for an IAS officer, guys. It is reality. So think and keep that in mind, and if there is any update related to elections, you need to know, because you play a very important role in conduction of elections. Okay, you see this article, guys. Read out the title. Jammu and Kashmir Mansba Lake starts hosting migratory birds again. What is the meaning of this title? Read it out and tell me. Migratory birds are coming now. Okay, that means what it refers. Okay, the keyword here is Mansbal Lake. If there is any lake in news, if there is any update, or if there is any restoration, if there are any positive impacts of the lake we can see in the news, means obviously UPSC can ask a question on that. Consider the following statements regarding Mansbal Lake. Under that it can give you the statements. Is that a possible question? And second type of question is, Mansbal Lake is seen recently in news. It is located in which of the following state? A. Tamil Nadu, B. Kerala, C. Arunachal Pradesh, D. Jammu and Kashmir. Like that, UPSC can ask you a question. Simple ABCD facts based question. And next one is, many a times if you see PYQs, they asked question on lakes. Many a times. They may give you match the following: Mansbal Lake, Vembanad Lake, so and so lake, Tal Lake. They may give you states. They will ask you to match the following. Match the following based question is possible, and this is the format from 2026 onwards. Clear? And even pair based question is possible. Lake name, state, like that they may give you 3 to 4 pairs, and they may ask you how many of above pairs are correct or incorrect. So in this 4 formats, UPSC can give you a question from this area. Okay, you have to be aware about the formats of questions. If possible, if I get time, if your schedule is free, I will be taking a class on just formats of question till now asked in UPSC. Okay, so that at least your mindset will be getting adapted to that type of question. Okay, if time permits, if your schedule is free. I said already your schedule is tightly packed. Okay, So here why it is in news is this Mansba lake had been restored now. So here you can see, normally whenever we are seeing any water body or any aquatic area, we can see water plants. So which is a major water invasive plant in India? Water hyacinth. Water hyacinth is one of the invasive plant. Wherever you go in our country, we have this problem of water hyacinth. Okay. So if water hyacinth is there, means what happened? If this is water, on this entire water, if we see only green plant, will this migratory birds come there? Will this migratory birds get their food there? No, right? So because of this, what happened earlier to this Jammu and Kashmir region, it used to attract more migratory birds in this Mansba lake. But because of this problem of invasive species and because of this problem of siltation, I said what is siltation, right? What is siltation? What is siltation process? What is siltation? Come on, tell me. If there is any lake filled by water, if there is any heavy water, if there is any heavy downpour, what happened? The water in the nearby areas will come and will flow into this lake, right? Whenever the water flows, will only water flows? It will also bring some sediments. What happened? The sediments will be settled down at the bottom of the lake. Then what happened for this capacity of water? Capacity of water will be reduced. Slowly, if we are not at all bothering about this removal of sediments, what happened? This lake is filled with sediments. Then what happens? The number of water bodies will be reduced, right? So here, recently government went for dredging process. Dredging is also called as desiltation. Desiltation is nothing but removing of whatever the sediments which are there. So if you are going for removal of sediments, what happen? We can increase the capacity of this lake, and each one is we can store more and more water. Normally before monsoon starts, government will be going for this dredging or desiltation process. Why? Because we have to store more and more water. So if you are storing more and more water, what are the aquifers which are there inside the ground will be recharged. Then we can improve our groundwater level also. And if whenever this lake conditions are good, if water quality is good, if there is no dredging, if there is very high capacity of water, we can also maintain good aquatic biodiversity here, like fishes, some other organisms. So that will be acting as a prey for migratory birds, and we can attract migratory birds into that area. If we are attracting migratory birds, then what is advantage? We can also promote local tourism, ecotourism, and we can also generate some local employment opportunities that will boost local economy. See, a small lake, how much it is impacting our economy. Every small thing is also has its own value. So we have to protect its value so that will be contributing for our economy. So that is this article, guys. Remember, this Mansba lake is in Jammu and Kashmir. And one important fact you need to remember is, it is our country's deepest freshwater lake. Please make a note. It is our country's deepest freshwater lake. It is our country's deepest freshwater lake in Jammu and Kashmir. Okay, one more important point you have to see is, now because of return of migratory birds in that location, they are planning to conduct bird watching festival in winter season. You can understand this kind of eco festivals will be boosting local tourism, and we can also show rich heritage and culture to the world. Okay, so because of this it is in news, guys. Read this title. Harjit Singh Grewal appointed Chief of Minorities Commission. If you are not only writing UPSC, if you are also applying for other examinations, this kind of current affairs will be important, guys. Who of the you may get question in this way. Recently, National Minorities Commission chief was appointed. Who is he? A, B, C, D options. You may get that kind of questions. Please make a note if you are writing other examinations also. For UPSC, they will not ask this much straightforward facts. They won't. If they want to ask, they will ask about this Minorities Commission. Okay, how you can get a question is consider the following statements regarding National Minorities Commission. Under that, it may give you 2 to 3 statements and it may ask you like identify correct or incorrect. Okay. Now let us see the context. You know the context? Harjit Singh Grewal appointed as Chief of Minorities Commission. If you see about this National Commission for Minorities, is it a constitutional body? What is a constitutional body? Okay, here you have to know about 2 important keywords. First one is constitutional body. Next one is statutory body. Constitutional body is nothing but if there is any article in our constitution talks about that body, then that is called as constitutional body. For example, Election Commission of India. Which article talks about it? Article 324. If I ask you about this UPSC, again we have certain articles talks about this UPSC. If you are talking about CAG, which article talks about CAG? Gone. CAG article 140. Again confusion. Kiran, 146. Okay, remember if there is any article in the constitution talks about it, it is called as a constitutional body. If there is any act that led to establishment, if there is any act establishes any body, this body is called as a statutory body. Please remember this. And we have one more body called as executive body. President through any resolution, if they establish any body, that is called as executive body. So we have 3 types of bodies: constitutional body, statutory body and executive body. If any article in our constitution talks about it, it is a constitutional body. If any act, if that leads to the formation of that body, then that is called as a statutory body. Executive body is nothing but if there is any resolution came up by the President of India, because of that resolution, if you are establishing any body, that is called as executive body. And this National Commission, National Minorities Commission is a statutory body. It is not a constitutional body. So which act led to the establishment of that? We have National Commission for Minorities Act. And we came up with this act in year 1992. After we came up with this act, we established this body. Because of this, it is a statutory body. And next one is, this body had been set up for the implementation of safeguards related to minorities of the constitution. And who will say like which community is a minority and which community is majority? Our central government has the power to say which community is minority and which community is majority. Earlier, we have only 5 religions which are said to be minorities in our country. Which are those 5 communities? Muslims, Christians, Sikhs, Buddhists, Zoroastrians or Parsis. And later on in 2014, they added one more community called as Jains. As of now, how many minority communities are there in India? 6 minority communities, guys. You have to remember this. It is based on 2011 census. If we get the new census, again, we have to update our data based on the new census, like how many minorities, if they added any community or if they removed any community, you have to update it, guys. After once new census data is released. This year they won't for sure. Maybe next year also, doubt. After 2 years for sure you will get this census data. Okay, see this next article, guys. See this title. US deliver another MH-60R Seahawk of Indian Navy. This topic is important from science and technology. From science and technology, space and defense, information communication technology and biotechnology. These four are very important. Every year, minimum 2 questions you can expect from this defense. So if there is any equipment, if it is in news, you need to know that. So what you have to see is, if there is any advanced equipment, like for example submarines or frigates or helicopters or any missiles, you have to see whether India produced that or whether we purchase from other country. First thing is you have to see whether India produced that or whether we purchase from any other country, which is that country. And next you have to see what is the purpose of that, where we are using. And next one is what is that equipment. They'll give only name. Okay, they'll give only name. For example, recently what we discussed? Any idea? Recently what we discussed? BrahMos. What is it? It is a missile. Okay, for example, we have recently INS Mahendragiri. What is that? Frigate. Okay, like that, you have to see what is the name and what equipment is it. Whether it is helicopter or whether it is frigate or whether it is submarine or whether it is any missile or aircraft. So we have to see this. UPSC has tendency to ask a question on that. Consider the following pairs. They give you a name and they will ask it is a frigate or submarine, like that. That is the first format of question. And second format of question is, consider the following. They may give you 3 to 4 equipments and they may ask you which of the above are produced by India. This is the question 2026. Okay. They may ask you about match the following also. They'll give you equipment name, country they may give, or what it is they may give, or where we'll use it. It may give. So in this different formats, UPSC can give a question, or else they can give you a question on a single equipment. Like consider the following statements regarding BrahMos missile. Consider the following statements regarding Astra missile. Now consider the following statements regarding MH-60R Seahawk. Like that, they may give you a question. So if whatever the question UPSC gives, you need to be in a condition to answer that question. So if you remember this, like what is that equipment, what is the purpose, from which country, or you have to see one more important area. If India is developing that, India will be having certain projects. Okay, so you have to see what is that project is about, like project 17, project 17A, okay, project 75, project 75I. So like that, we have 4 to 5 projects of Government of India where we are focusing on production of that equipment in our country. So you have to see under which project it comes. Only these 5 areas you have to remember from prelims point of view. Clear? Any doubt? Okay, now let us see this article. Indian Navy has received another MH-60R Seahawk multi-role naval helicopter. So here this MH-60R Seahawk is what? Helicopter. From which country we purchased? From US. And we signed agreement with US in 2020 for supply of 24 helicopters. Okay, now we got around 21 helicopters from US and again 3 more are pending. Okay, and this deal is around $946 million deal. It is a very huge amount. Okay, now let us see why we are buying that much huge equipment, or like why we are doing that much heavy investment in buying of these helicopters. Why? Because it is highly advanced maritime helicopter and it is developed by US. Next one is, it is a variant of Black Hawk platform. So this Black Hawk used by US in one of its famous mission called as Operation Neptune in 2011, and it showed like that because of that only that led to like winning of that event for US. So because of this, India also thought that we are having more and more threats from this Indo-Pacific region, and we too need such kind of advanced helicopters. So because of this, in 2020, India made agreement with US regarding this helicopters. And next one here is this helicopters, you're having radars. I said about how these radars work, right? How these radars work? The radars will have antenna. It will send high powered radio waves and it will hit the any object and rays will come back. Based on the amount and the speed of that rays, we can identify what is that object is, in which direction it is moving, right? So if you are having this radar fitted with this helicopter, if helicopter is moving like this, if you want to know what is that equipment, what happens? This antenna of this radar will be releasing high frequency radio waves into air and it can identify what is that. So if it is related to our enemy country, and this helicopter will be also having this missile system which is attached to that. Immediately it can launch the missile there and then itself. Have you understanding here? So because of this, we can try to minimize the threats and we can increase security in our maritime arena by this single helicopter. Because of that reason, we are investing a lot to get this kind of technology. Clear? And next one here is, we also have onboard mission system which is integrating sensor data, and we can identify surface and as well as subsurface threats, and we can identify and we can track enemy ships and submarines in this water. So because of this reason, yes, we need to have this advanced helicopters. And here in this helicopters, we can use torpedoes, we can use missiles, we can use rockets, we can use onboard guns. If we identify any threat, directly we can use that helicopter to neutralize this enemy targets. So in this way, this helicopter is very advanced and we are purchasing from US. Clear? And see this next article, read out the title, Promise of Chips. Okay, next see the second line, chip making is more than a seasonal obsession in India now. I want to know the meaning of this line, guys. Please read out the statement and tell me the meaning. Chip making is more than a seasonal obsession in India. We are not manufacturing chips. Is that the meaning? Seasonal means? Seasonal means monsoon is a seasonal. Monsoon is a season. Only in that season we will get rainfall. So what is the meaning of this? Chip making is more than a seasonal obsession. Okay, I'll ask you a basic question. When will you buy electronic goods? Whenever there is a sale. Yes? When this sale will be? Before Dasra, Diwali, New Year time, year ending sales, no? Yes? So this article is saying that in India, mostly there will be demand for electronic goods and chips on season based. On season based. Will you accept it or not? Whenever there is Amazon big sale, Big C offers, year ending sale, Dasra and Diwali, New Year offers, then only we will try to change our electronic gadgets. Because we will get on discount price. The reason is we will get at cheap cost. Yes or no? Will we buy phone whenever it is launched in the market? Very rare. Only in some cases. Only who are like having more attitude towards that kind of equipment, they will buy. But unless and until normal middle class people, we will wait for mega sale. Even I will be also coming under that same category. If I want to buy anything, I'll keep what I'll do is I will add them to my cart. Whenever there is sale, I will order it on online. I think many of you also doing the same thing, right? No? Yes? Same thing. So that is the meaning of this. So mostly there will be demand for electronic goods and chips in India based on season. Okay, and one more question from my side. Are we producing semiconductors in India? Recently, our government of India launched a mission. What is that? Semiconductor mission. And now recently government set up semiconductor, gave approval for 4 semiconductor plants. In which area? Assam, Gujarat, one more. That is the question 2026 prelims. No. In 2026 prelims, the question is, consider the following. Identify which is not correct. They gave you ABCD options and they gave the plant name and location. Gujarat, Assam, Himachal Pradesh. One is Madhya Pradesh. Answer is not in Madhya Pradesh. That is 2026 question, Kiran. Forgot? Can you recall it? Nitin and Kiran? Harsha? No idea. Just you wrote that exam, no. How can you forget that question? Okay, so that is a question. So if you are having this kind of updates, if government is providing approval for that kind of plans, UPSC can ask a question on that. This is in 2026. Okay, so here India launched this India Semiconductor Mission, and India allocated lots of budget for manufacturing of semiconductors in our country. And actually this manufacturing of semiconductors is at nascent stage in our country. That means nothing but early stages. Why? Because of lack of technology, because of lack of raw material. We need critical minerals. Do we have that critical minerals in our country? We are getting from other countries. So here this article is saying that whenever we are focusing on chip making, we should not focus on season based now in India. Why? Because geopolitics is different. You know, Russia-Ukraine war is going on. You know what is happening in this West Asian countries. Yes. So if you depend on other countries for chip making, if there is sudden shortage of supply of critical minerals. Recently, what is the idea of China? Trade weaponization. What it stopped? Export of helium. Export of helium, which is very important in what? Semiconductor industries. So if you are depending on other countries, what happened? It will be affecting our entire Indian development, Indian research, Indian technology, Indian economy. That is this article. Are you understanding? This is the gist. Clear or not? Just at least have you got the idea of this article? In India, mostly the demand for the electronics and chips is based on season. For this reason, India is importing from other countries. If other countries are stopping the export, like as recently China did of export ban of helium, if it did the export ban of critical minerals or semiconductors, not only China, if other countries on which if you are depending on them, if they did the same thing, means obviously it will be affecting our country's economy, research and development, technology. So because of this, it should not be a seasonal obsession in India now. We have to produce all round. Clear? So this is the basic gist. And now let us see the details of this article. I am trying to explain from the very basic level, guys. Very basic. And in the normal layman terms, I am telling. So if you are not understanding this also means I can't do anything. I am explaining from very basic level. Okay, see this article, guys. If you see about India's electronics and other components, the demand was heavily influenced by seasonal festivals. Yes, Dasra, Diwali, New Year offers, big sales, and consumer spending cycles. So because of this, we are not focusing much on chip fabrication in our country. So here recently government launched India Semiconductor Mission under Make in India and Atmanirbhar Bharat, and we are moving towards production of chips in our country or semiconductors in our country. And this evolution reflects that the chip power is everything. Nowadays we are using smartphones, we are using lots of electronic gadgets, we are using AI, we are coming up with data centers to store data, everything. In each and every arena, semiconductors plays a very important role. And if you are depending on the imports, then what happens? Our country will be in vulnerability. Why? Because we don't know what happens in other country next year or next month. We don't know when this China comes and attack India. We don't know when this Pakistan occupy Jammu and Kashmir. Yes. So because of this highly vulnerable areas, if we are depending on other country for our imports, obviously it will make our nation vulnerable. Okay, if you see the data it is given here, India has no operational fabrication plant yet in our country related to semiconductors. Okay, whatever the projects government came up, they are at initial stages in our country. And recently Niti Aayog came up a report that whatever the chips or production manufacturing setup we did in our country, it is not fully meeting our domestic demand. So if you want to meet our domestic demand, for sure we have to improve our manufacturing pace in our country. And recently our cabinet approved around 1.25 lakh crores for this production of semiconductors in our country. Okay, and we are focusing on fabrication, other related areas like assembly, that is nothing but assemble, testing, packaging, everything. Recently government allocated lots of funds. So why now chip making is more than a seasonal obsession? What is the reason is geopolitical and supply chain security. Most of our semiconductors we are getting from other countries, and in the world Taiwan is the largest producer of chips. About 90% of advanced chips are produced in Taiwan. Okay, if there is any issue between India and Taiwan, India, China, obviously it will be having impact on exports. It may stop the export. Next one is economic and technological sovereignty. If you see, China is very good in 5G technology, 6G technology, electric vehicles, defense, solar infrastructure, everything. So if you are completely dependent on China, what happened? Always India will be an important import dependent country itself, and we have to pay more and more foreign currency, so that it will be affecting our forex reserves and it will be affecting our investments in our country. And next important point here is long-term industrial transformation. Unlike seasonal consumer demand, so now we are expanding AI, we are expanding machine learning, we are using multiple electronic gadgets. Everywhere semiconductors are important. Because of this, we have to go for transformation in India. We have to focus on getting of materials, equipment, chemicals, gases, and we have to focus on development, and we have to build a proper ecosystem in our country. Okay, so that is the thing which mainly said in this article, why we should not focus on only seasonal thing. See this guys, next article. Battling drug abuse, Kerala has shown initiative in coordinative action against cartels. Recently we discussed one article, recently NCB, National Narcotics Bureau, Narcotics Control Bureau came up with a report. What it said? There is triple production of what? Opium in Golden Triangle. You know Golden Crescent, Golden Triangle, right? So in Golden Triangle region there is increased production, and we are sharing boundary with Myanmar. From this Myanmar, what is happening? Drug trafficking is happening, especially the youth of this northeastern part. They are in danger now. Now this article is saying that Kerala youth also had been habituated, addicted to these drugs. Now Kerala government started one operation. You have to remember that operation, and you can use that example while you are writing your mains answer. For sure in 2026 mains or 2027, you will get a question on drug trafficking because of this NCB report. Okay, now let us see here. Kerala is known for high literacy, good health indicators, social progress, development. Yes? If I ask you which is a developed state in India, without any hesitation we can say Kerala. Yes? But now the major problem in Kerala is narcotics. It is the single largest challenge in contemporary Kerala. And now Chief Minister of Kerala want that state youth is around 60 to 65% of population of Kerala. They are under direct threat of organized drug mafia. And please make note of this, which uses narcotics as a primary weapon to paralyze and destroy their potential. Whenever you are writing your essay or whenever you are writing your conclusions of answer, try to use the strong keywords. Narcotics will act as a primary weapon to paralyze and destroy potential of youth. How this framing is very nice, no? To read, you can impress the examiner. You have to use such kind of keywords. If such kind of keywords are there in news articles, please make note of that. And wherever it is possible, try to use that kind of impressive words. And next one here is, because of this using of drugs, what happened? Obviously, there will be increased brutal, violent crimes. Okay, and especially where they are getting these drugs, in schools, colleges, entertainment venues, luxury hotels, DJ parties, where we have high youth areas. So now recently they started one operation. The name is, write down, Operation Tufan. Operation Tufan. Here you will get question in prelims. Every year you will get at least 10 to 15 operations in news. Operation Sagar Bandhu, right? Operation now Tufan, Operation Samadhan. If you're getting that kind of operations, they may give you a maths following based question there, and you have to remember this. Operation Tufan, it is about drugs in Kerala. Okay. So what they are doing here in this Operation Tufan is they are going for joint coordinated mission. So they include lots of multiple departments here like police, excise, education, higher education, local bodies, parents, teachers, NGOs and publics. Every people is interconnected and they are doing a coordinated mission to control drugs in Kerala. Okay, now what exactly they are doing is, first one is Tufan strikes. Direct enforcement pillars, or they're going for raids, they're going for inspections, arrest and seizures of these drugs, and which is led by Kerala police and excise people. And next one is we have Tufan warriors. They are nothing but NGOs, general public, parents, they are using them and they are conducting awareness and volunteer movement. Here they are using police cadets, youth, influential members of society, and they are especially focusing on awareness. And next one is Tufan Care. So whoever who had been addicted, especially youth addicted to this drugs, they are getting rehabilitation, they are getting treatment, counseling, reintegration into society. So here if you are getting any case study related to this, you are an IPS officer, in your area there is drug trafficking and you are getting reports from PMO office, youth are getting influenced, there is increased heinous crimes in your area. So what kind of approach you will take? So these are the 3 points you have to write. Through Tufan strikes, warriors and care. So these are the measures that you can write directly in your answer case, because it is done, it is going on in Kerala. And whenever you are writing any measures or action, try to write practical. You should not be in dreams. If I were this, I will do this, I will complete, I will go for killing of everyone. Don't write that. Only the practical things you have to write in your case studies. So this is the practical thing and it is authenticated. Write down in this way. Okay, don't go in extreme way. Okay, see these questions guys. Today there are 2 questions. One is assertion and reason based question. Assertion is special intensive revision is undertaken by Election Commission to improve the accuracy of electoral rolls. Reason is the process includes field verification, document verification of eligible voters. What is the answer? Option A is both A and R are true. R is the correct explanation. B is not correct explanation. C is A is true, R is false. D is A is false, R is true. What is the answer? A. Yes. What is SIR? That is SIR. Why? We are going for field verification documents. Because of that only we are increasing the accuracy. Answer A is the right answer for this question. See this next one guys. With reference to Manasbal Lake, consider the following statements. First one, it is located in Jammu and Kashmir. Second one is it is regarded as the deepest freshwater lake in Jammu and Kashmir. And next one is it is a Ramsar site. And next one is it is connected with the Jhelum river through a canal. Come on, thing is, try to eliminate the wrong statement. Think which statement might be wrong in this 4. Hmm? Fourth one wrong. For sure. Huh? You know, it is in Jammu and Kashmir. It is a freshwater lake and is deepest, no? So actually, always UPSC will give this wrong Ramsar sites. If you do multiple PYQs, then you will know where the trap is. If it is a Ramsar site, they will say that it is not a Ramsar site. If it is not a Ramsar site, they will say it is a Ramsar site. In many questions that is the trap used by UPSC in environment and ecology. That's why I always ask you to identify the wrong statements. If you do PYQs, then only you will get that. Knack. This is right. So answer is only 3 statements are right. Okay. Now that's all guys. By this I'm concluding. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you like this class, please do hit the like button and please do share this video to your friends. And if you want to start your preparation, you can join our prelims cum mains foundation course guys. And we are providing that course both on online and offline, and new batch is going to be started soon guys. Admissions are going on. Don't get late guys. Try to use this opportunity. And if you want to meet me directly, please do visit our academy, which is located in Ashok Nagar, Hyderabad. And I wish you all the best guys.